Hey folks, I'm attorney Roger P. Foley. Today I'm going to talk to you about a case out in Gainesville, Florida, Alachua County. Uh, Looks like a University of Florida student is arrested for rape. I'm not going to mention his name. There's information online if you really want to search it out. Guy plays sports, member of a sports team there at the University of Florida. And I'm only reading a police report. I went up online just out of curiosity. I'm a criminal defense attorney. I like what I do, and I like the challenges that each case presents. What I'm seeing here is that, according to the news article that quotes to the Gainesville Police Department, a 20-year-old and his roommates welcomed the victim and her roommates to their apartment. Get together, college campus, right? Guys and girls get together, hang out. And they supposedly were playing some drinking games, and she becomes intoxicated to the point where she had problem standing, which is corroborated by her roommate, says the news article. Again, I tried to look up the police report. It's not online right now. I'm sure it will be in a few days, but just using this as a teaching moment. It says police say that the victim was trying to not when the defendant started kissing her. She recalled going in and out of consciousness. All right, that again, I don't know what's true, folks. Let me start off with rape is an extremely serious offense, traumatic, wrong. I'm not an advocate of rape. I'm a criminal defense attorney, so I have represented people who have been charged with this crime before. So I'm talking from a defense perspective. I don't know if he's guilty of sin and he truly raped her, or she consented and now is saying she's raped. I have no idea, but she's alleging that she's been raped. So I believe that that's where you start off with. She's been raped. That's what a jury's going to do. A jury's going to hear the allegations, and they're going to say, okay, she probably got raped. And as a defense attorney, our job is to show credibility issues, show intoxication issues, show reasons why a victim would possibly lie or create this story. It's a hard task, let me tell you. So it says is police say the victim was trying not to pass out on the couch when the defendant started kissing her. She recalled going in and out of consciousness. That's a weird thing to say, right? So I don't know what the police report says, but again, they're supposedly quoting from it. People tend not to remember going in and out of consciousness. They remember drinking, they remember being tired, they remember falling asleep, or they remember laying on the couch and then waking up, right? People don't even remember falling asleep, right? So that's an odd thing. I would start with that premise and start to explore that. Now, keep in mind it says that the 20-year-old and his roommates, plural, so I'm assuming two, maybe more, welcomed the victim and her roommates. I'm in my mind right now, I'm thinking there's at least 6 people that are involved in this interaction. All right. The victim says that she ended up on the defendant's bed but did not remember how she arrived there. This is when things turned violent. All right. So again, I'm looking at every statement. My job as a defense attorney, I'm commenting. So I'm commenting as a defense attorney. So please, no hate mail, okay? She ended up on O'Connell's bed but did not remember how she arrived there. So it's possibly she placed herself there. It's possibly she walked into the bed. Well, then things turned violent. She says she was forcefully and aggressively raped by the defendant several times, describing it as, quote, painful. She told officers that she asked the defendant to stop, saying, I can't take it, stop, and that hurts, please stop. I got to tell you, that's a lot of information from someone who, let me go back, from someone who was trying not to pass out on the couch and recalls going in and out of consciousness. I got to tell you, when you're going in and out of consciousness and you're at that level of intoxication, you tend not to remember that you had a conversation saying it's painful and that things that you told the defendant to stop and that you couldn't take it and stop and that hurts and please stop. Because if you can remember that, right, if you can remember those things, you can probably, right, if you can say that you articulated a sentence and you said that to the defendant, can you not raise your voice a little bit? Because there's four other people, at least four other people in the other room having a party, right? I don't know. That gives me some room to ask some appropriate questions. It says when he stopped the first time, she noticed blood everywhere. Blood everywhere? That's different. You know, is it that time of the month? Is Where's the blood coming from? I mean, it doesn't sound like she's been stabbed or shot, injured. So I'm assuming that blood is coming from her vaginal area. Again, I don't know. I'm trying to read into it a little bit. Is she saying that, it was so forceful and so aggressive that she was bleeding vaginally? It's possible. Without a doubt, it's possible. And if this young lady was truly raped, then I feel for her. I've dealt with rape cases. I've talked to people that have been raped. I understand the seriousness of the matter. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's false, but obviously, her story is believed. The defendant he's. I don't know why my computer's clogging up there. So she notices blood everywhere. So what does that tell me? That tells me that the police, after her statement, and what it doesn't tell me is how soon after did she report the rape. That's always important in rape cases. How soon after did she report, and who did she have a conversation with prior to contacting police? Or did she go directly to the hospital? We don't know these facts. My guess is that once the police took her statement, whether she's at a hospital or not, there's going to be a rape kit done, usually done at a hospital for DNA. They're going to take her statement. It's going to be a recorded statement, audio recorded at the station, possibly video recorded if the officer's wearing a body camera. But more than likely, a detective shows up on scene and they're going to record. When a victim comes to a police station, they usually bring them into a room and everything's recorded with a video camera. They're in the police station. Not sure how they're going to do that if she's at the hospital. As a defense attorney, I want to be able to see her face. I want to be able to see how she acts. So an audio takes some of those things out. I can't see gestures. I can't see movement. I can't see expressions. And all of those things are things that as a defense attorney, you need to pick up on. So what it also tells me is after she gives that statement, the police more than likely are going to apply for a search warrant because she's quoting blood all over the place. So the police are going to get a search warrant. They're going to go search the apartment. They're going to go through garbage cans. They're going to look for, is there a used condom? Is there paper towels, napkins, anything that could show evidence also of a struggle? Is there is anything knocked over? Because, she's saying aggressively, and that there was blood. It says the victim says she had marks on her neck from where he choked her, a sore throat, and had trouble urinating for 2 days after the incident. That tends to lead me to believe that maybe this alleged rape wasn't reported accurately, because normally a officer would say that based on his observations, there were observations that he saw that there were marks and bite marks on the victim, which were consistent with her story. Because I don't know. Remember, I'm reading a report here from 20 ABC. So I don't know if they're just a bad writer or I don't know. It says obviously that the defendant is a member of a sports team, and that he's in custody on a $50,000 bond. So what does a defense team need to do? defensive team looks like he's already switched attorneys. He started off with one law firm, and then looks like maybe did some more research and got another law firm. I'm not sure what the reason for that was, but sometimes you just try to get anyone, but the real pick, the one you want to be the quarterback of your team, the law firm with the experience. Maybe once you're out, you can do the research, or his parents or family members are doing research to really find out who the best team of attorneys is for their son or their family member. So first thing that they're going to do is they file in. They're going to stipulate a stipulation for substitution of counsel. Looks like they've already done it. The judge has already signed off on it, and now they're going to request discovery. That's all the information that's that the police and the state attorney's office has against the defendant. What else are they going to do? Well, I can tell you what I would do is I would automatically get an investigator. I'd want an investigator out there getting as much information on this person, on the people involved at the party as possible. I want to make sure that I could collect statements from them. I want to know what the relationship was before this get together, before this invite of drinking games. I want to know if they've had relations in the past, if they were dating. I'd want to know, this may come from an investigator, this may come from depositions, right? But I can tell you up front that the deposition of the alleged victim would come last. I would be taking the depositions of the other individuals, at least those 4 other students that were at the get-together. Because in my mind, folks, I got to tell you, I'm going to go to the ladies' side for a second. If you go to a party with your girlfriends, right, and usually there's one sober, right? There's one person. They probably drove over. Maybe they walked over. I don't know. But there's usually one person that stays sober. They're usually the one making sure that the other girls don't drink, things like this don't happen, right? So who is that person? Or all the girls drunk? Because if all the girls were drunk, well, then I can understand, well, hey, maybe people are passing out. Maybe people are going into different rooms to hook up, right? I don't know. I want to know how she got into the bedroom. Did she do it on her own will? Obviously, she's already given some sort of conflicting statements that are saying, I don't even know how I got there, but yet she remembers saying no and stop and this hurts. And look, she very may well have done it. So I'm not saying that this young lady is not being accurate, but as a defense attorney, I can see issues with that. I can see things that I'm going to look at that I'm definitely going to be asking questions about. In today's society, it's all about the deposition. When you have a serious case like this, it's all about the research work and the depositions, because you don't know. Maybe she said to her girlfriends, "Hey, I think that this guy's cute. I'm looking forward to it. I want to hook up with them. We're living in that society. Women's rights and women are just as aggressive to get what they want as men are. They ask, they get, they tell, they get. For this young man, hopefully, that's the situation. But here's the reality, folks, right? Even if they had prior relations, even if she wanted to have sexual relations, the second she says no and he continues and takes a step forward, it's rape. It's rape. It doesn't matter if they're boyfriend and girlfriend. Remember, a boyfriend can rape a girlfriend. A husband can rape a wife. A prostitute can be raped, right? All of these things are facts. But you got to get cross-examination brings you to the truth, right? Asking questions of the other people involved help you get a feel for what was going on between these two people, right? What were they, hugging and kissing throughout the night? Had they played around? Had they, has any fondling had gone on? It's important to know, because it does go to the victim's state of mind. It does go to the defendant's state of mind. That there's things that are important to know. A jury's going to hear this, and unless the defense team just knocks it out of the water through depositions and finds out that, hey, maybe she was drinking, but she still had her faculties about her, and and there was consensual sex, or they believe that they can't possibly get an abiding conviction of guilt from a jury, they don't go forward. But that's a big if. On these kinds of cases, it tends to be a jury case. These aren't cases that get dismissed on a technicality. These aren't cases that you file a motion to dismiss because she's saying she's raped and he's saying it was either consensual or he didn't do anything. So this isn't a case that's dismissed. This is a case that you go through the depositions. There may be some motions to suppress some evidence, depending on what it is. There's definitely going to be motions in limine. And what I do on cases like this, and what I've done in the past, is I usually do a focus group. Obviously, University of Florida, these are students there. So you're not going to be able to use those students on campus. So I would be doing focus groups at other colleges. I mean, unless the family just has the money to hire mock juries, which most clients don't have the money to. You see that more in civil. So I've had to adapt, and I go to colleges, campuses, I talk to professors, and I go in, I have all the students sign waivers of confidentiality that they have to say that they'll keep everything confidential. Because even though I don't use names or whatever, people can figure things out. So, and then I usually present the case to them from a prosecutor's perspective, and everything that's in the police report. And by a show of hands, and I have them fill out a verdict form. Hey, how many people, based on the evidence here, think that the defendant is guilty? Truly, I've had classes of 150 students. 146 of them raise their hand. Hey, if everything in that police report's accurate, I believe it. They're guilty. Then I start to ask them questions about things that they need. What do they need to convict? What information would they like to know more about? And I take that information. I usually say, okay, give me your idea. Bill, Sue, John, whoever it is. I go through all the students and I make a list of all the things that they think are important, things they'd want to hear. Maybe they want to hear the 911 call. Maybe they want to see the medical records. Maybe they want to hear from the girlfriend. Maybe they want to see text messages that occurred, between the two. Maybe they want to know if there was any sexting going on before. There's things that people want to know. Then what I do is I make a list of those things, and let's just say there's 100 students, just for argument's sake, in the class. Then out of the 100 students, I go, look, you can only pick one thing. We've made a list of 20, and we go down the list. And I go, you can pick one thing, and maybe 20 people pick text messages. Maybe 10 people pick 911 call. And I usually go through the top. It depends how much time I got and how many classes I'm doing it on it. But I do 3 to 5. And then we pick which one, and then I give them that information. Maybe it's an audio recording. Maybe it's a 911 call. Maybe it's copies of parts of the discovery with text messages. And then I see how they feel about it. And I say, now that you've gotten this piece of information, let's go through guilty or not guilty. I give them another verdict form. And then I do that with each piece of evidence. And I usually do it with what I think is the most important things, of what they thought was the most important things. And then that helps me to decide, after I've given them 2, 3, 4 different things, we come to a final conclusion. I can tell you from doing these focus groups, I've seen a huge difference from when 96 out of 100 people, students, raise their hand, and then at the end, maybe you have 20 people saying guilty and 70 or 80 saying not guilty. I've used that in cases where I've actually presented, and I video record it. And again, the students, no one's putting their names out there and what have you. But I've shown the verdict forms to prosecutors, and I've offered to show the video. And I can tell you, I've had life felony cases. People that were facing life go down to probationary sentences, and the majority of charges dropped. So I've done it on rape cases. I've done it on life felonies. I believe I did on a 1020 life case, on a shooting case. It's helpful, and hopefully he puts together a defense team on cases like this. I'm a small firm. I often bring in other attorneys because I know that there's attorneys that can do things, and I put a team together. It's not about making the most money. It's about providing the best defense, doing the best job you can for your client. So these are some factors. I guess we're going to find out in time, right? The police report's going to come out. The 911 tape's going to come out. Text messages are going to come out. We're going to hear about this stuff. I'm just giving you a preview. I was randomly looking through the news today, and I came across this case, thought it was interesting, and decided to talk to you guys off the cuff. Again, please, no hate mail. The young lady, I always, from that perspective, look, I would never attack a rape victim. Even when I'm a defense attorney and I'm handling a rape charge, my training teaches me do not attack a rape victim. Let them go through the story. I provide questions and I show inconsistencies, things that can stand out to a jury, right? She's already given some statements. She's going to give more statements. She's going to talk to friends. She's going to make other statements. She may post things on social media. She may not. But there's going to be at least two opportunities, right? She gave an audio recording or a video recording to a detective, and the defense team is going to get to take her deposition. Because no one's going to plead to a rape charge, right? You're not going to plead to a rape charge and accept, a long prison sentence and a convicted felon if you're, 20 years old in college. So I expect the defense team will fight the fight and fight the battle. Hopefully he's chosen a good team, and I guess we'll find out. So I'm as curious as you guys. Again, I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm not saying he's guilty. My belief as a criminal defense attorney is everybody is innocent until they're proven guilty. And if I'm on the case, they're going to do a lot of work. And every defense attorney I know, puts in effort to get a not guilty. Maybe it's a bragging right. I don't know. Some people are more selective in their cases than other people. So I guess it all depends on the defense attorney. I can tell you that the prosecution is going to believe everything that she says, and they're going to do everything they can to convict this young man. So I don't know what the truth is. We're going to find it out. So anyway, that's a quick quick analysis of what should be done, getting that discovery, taking those depositions, getting a investigator involved, and probably doing some mock trials or focus groups, as I call them, putting it together and coming up with a reason why, right? Why would she say she was raped? Again, did she go right to the police station? Did she wait a couple of days? What happened? Does she have a boyfriend that maybe found out that she had sexual relations and now she's got to, call it rape? I don't know. Maybe she was truly raped. I mean, all these possibilities are out there, right? That we only have a very small fraction of the information. We have an allegation. We have some statements that are put in a police report, and I'm reading, quite frankly, from a newspaper article, which doesn't tell me that much. So anyway, look forward to hearing more about the case, and maybe I'll do some follow up on it. Thanks for listening.